Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV back with another video and a lot of glare. I apologize, but we are back here with This Week in the NFL. This is the final week of the season. There's no Monday night games, so I figured I'd come on here and finish out the regular season. We have wild card weekend coming up. We have the playoffs coming up, so yeah, we're just going to get through every single game that happened in the final week of the regular season, and then, I'll see you guys on Tuesday for a wild card. We have the Chiefs and the Raiders. Let's start off with that. Chiefs-Raiders, not really a whole lot to talk about. It was a pretty shitty game. Not a lot of implications. It was kind of meh. Kadarius Toney had like an end-around handoff for a touchdown. Garrett Stidham gave 100 Renfro. Isaiah Pacheco being a power back for them. Great punt for Tommy Townsend. He did the McGregor strut, and the spinning huddle trick play was an interesting one. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, 18 for 26, 202 yards and a touchdown. Is it Jarrett Stidham? Yeah, Jarrett Stidham went 22 for 36, had a touchdown, but he did throw a pick. Isaiah Pacheco, however you say his name, he had 8 carries for 64 yards and a touchdown, while Jarrett Stidham had 7 carries for 50 yards. Not bad there, running back wise. Justin Watson, again, we always have that random receiver on the Chiefs that plays well, and we have this guy go for a 67-yard reception, and Devontae Adams still played pretty good, 5 catches for 73 yards. We're going to move on. What the hell is happening here? Okay, Titans-Jaguars, not a whole lot of, there was playoff implications. This was pretty much the AFC South championship. They got the Jaguars late in the game, got a scoop and score touchdown. Josh Dobbs threw an interception. The Jaguars again and again were getting field possession off of this. Derrick Henry was sending some mean stiff arms. Trevor Lawrence gave the ball to Christian Kirk for a touchdown. Chigozie Okonkwo got a touchdown for the Titans, but I don't know, man. It was a pretty good game. Josh Dobbs went 20 for 29, threw a touchdown, but he did throw a pick. Trevor Lawrence, 20 for 32, 212 yards, and a touchdown. Okonkwo for the Titans had 3 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. And Christian Kirk had 6 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown. So, yeah, Jaguars are in the damn playoffs. I think this is the first time they've been in the playoffs since that 2016 run they had with Blake Bortles. So I think that was the year. I'm not sure, but we're going to get to the Sunday games. Let's just get the Packers game out of the way, right? Lions, Packers. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers lose by 4 to the Lions. They miss the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, will have the entire postseason to ponder his future. Obviously, his future is up in the air right now. We're not sure what he's going to be doing. Is he going to retire? Is he going to go to a different team? Is he going to play with the Packers for 1 or 2 more years? We don't know. This was a disappointing season. People definitely expected the Packers to make the playoffs, but let's be honest, they had a lot of growing pains this year. They had a lot of young guys. But Jared Goff threw 23 for 24. Aaron Rodgers 17 for 27, 205 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He talked in the presser how he didn't want his final game to be a loss. So maybe that signs of something. But I don't know if I see it. Shout out to Jamal Williams, though, very emotional interview after the game with his father. You got to respect him for that. I was pretty mad about the Packers losing this game. Or I wasn't really, really mad because I knew that we would have had to go against the San Francisco 49ers coming up here. But seeing the interview with Jamal Williams after the game was like, yeah, he really deserved this. 2 touchdowns this game. He's had a franchise record. He beat Barry Sanders' touchdown record, so yeah, Khalif Raymond had 4 catches for 66 yards, while Christian Watson, great fucking season. Great way to wrap up an amazing rookie year for him. He had 5 catches, 104 yards, man. beastly way to end a rookie season that started off pretty bad with that big mishap on the catch in the first game. But I'm proud of Christian Watson, and hopefully he has a future with the Packers. So, yeah, let's move on here. We have the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Desmond Ridder throws his first 2 touchdown passes as the Falcons beat Tom Brady and the Bucs. Desmond Ridder had almost a full season to plan how he would celebrate his first touchdown pass. He was able to do it, and shout out to Desmond Ridder. I don't know what the hell was going on. I mean, Tom Brady 13 for 17. He threw a touchdown. Desmond Ridder 19 for 30, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. Probably one of the best games of his early NFL career. Tyler Algier, he is a damn beast, guys. Let me tell you, 24 carries, 135 yards. He's going to be a really good running back for the Falcons moving forward. He really is. Drake London, 6 catches, 120 yards. Just really good offensive weapons. Very good young guys for this Falcons team. So, yeah, let's just move on from that. Patriots, Bills. My grandpa is a my grandpa is a Dolphins fan. So there were 3 games we were paying attention to, like, throughout the early windows. The Patriots and Bills, the Dolphins, Jets, of course, and the Steelers, Browns. Those were 3 really big games for him. So Patriots, Bills was a game I was watching a decent amount. Bills win for DeMar Hamlin and eliminate the Patriots in the playoffs. The echoes of Let's Go Buffalo pregame chants were still reverberating through an emotionally charged Bills stadium, dealing with the DeMar Hamlin situation. Nyheim Hines, 2 kick return touchdowns. I mean, that's a pretty big highlight from that game. Holy shit, that's insane, guys. I mean, that's never happened from one player. It could have happened twice in one game with, like, 2 opposing teams doing it, but I don't know, man. It might not have. Mac Jones, 26 for 40. He did throw 3 touchdowns, but 3 picks. I mean, in a game where you're supposed to be winning to try to get in the playoffs, I don't know. And they had the upper hand. They had all the tiebreakers. They would have made it if they won this game. They just had to win out. They were in the Packers situation. Both teams failed to deliver. But Josh Allen, 19 for 31, 254 yards, 3 touchdowns. Threw a pick, but pretty solid way to end a MVP caliber season, nonetheless. Ramondre Stevenson had 6 carries for 54 yards, while James Cook had 9 carries for 45 yards. Devontae Parker had 6 catches for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. I always thought he was a pretty underrated receiver in this league, and he had a good game there. Stephon Diggs, 7 catches, 104 yards and a touchdown. Nothing really new there. Definitely a top 5 receiver in the league. Vikings, Bears. Hey, shout out to you Bears fans, because you guys had a successful tank here. Kirk Cousins dominates the first half as the Vikings beat the Bears by 16. The Vikings wanted nothing more than to wash away the bitter taste from a blowout loss and head into the postseason on a sweeter note. So Vikings are looking somewhat dominant. I mean, 13-4. Obviously, they've had some pretty fraudulent losses, but Kirk Cousins, he can play really good if you want him to. I mean, 17 for 20, 225 yards and a touchdown. Nathan Peterman, man, I think he's one of the worst quarterbacks I've seen in NFL history, but shout out to him. He came out 11 for 19, 114 yards and a touchdown. That's really not bad at all. Alexander Madison had 10 carries for 54 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Khalil Herbert had 10 carries for 50 yards. So it turns out that Justin Jefferson isn't going to get the record. He got the Vikings franchise record, but he's not really even close to that Calvin Johnson record, and it's just going to continue, that Megatron record. It's going to continue to show just how impressive that season was. I mean, it was really KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne has dominated for 1 or 2 weeks more than Jefferson probably expected. And yeah, 5 catches for 117 yards. KJ Osborne, great receiver. Probably one of the best wide receiver 3s in the league. Besides, like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, interchangeable, whatever. He is. I mean, Cole Kmet as well. He's been playing really good lately for the Chicago Bears. He's going to be a good guy carrying forward on this rebuild here 4 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown. And you kind of got to wonder what the Bears are going to do here. Are they going to trade down? Are they going to draft like a really good defender or receiver? Who knows? Because Bryce Young's in this draft class, so a lot of teams are going to want him. Ravens-Bengals, next game. The Bengals beat the Ravens to avoid a coin flip and set up a home rematch. The Cincinnati Bengals built a big lead and came out flat in the second half, but held off the division rival Baltimore Ravens to close the season on an 8-game winning streak. One of the most dominant teams in the league. They played fucking Anthony Brown. I mean, he had 286 yards, but he had 2 picks. Like, I don't know, man. Joe Burrow, 25 for 42 and a touchdown. Likely, hey, look at that. Isaiah Likely getting another good game in the NFL. He's a hell of a backup tight end. I mean, they pretty much rested all their guys. I mean, they played Kenyon Drake, but Isaiah Likely, 8 catches, 103 yards. Jamar Chase had 8 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. He had a really good touchdown catch in this game, so yeah, that was pretty dope. There's still a lot of games to talk about, good God. Texans-Colts, better game than anyone would have thought of, but again, these are 2 teams that are eliminated, so I'm not going to talk about this game that much. Davis Mills went 22 for 38, had 298 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. Sam Ehlinger played for the Colts in this game. He threw 23 for 35, had 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, so there's 4 picks in this game. Yeah, I mean, Zach Moss, great game for the Colts. 18 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Really good backup running back. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor didn't have the season he was wanting to have, which probably led to a lot of the Colts' struggles. But Brandon Cooks, 5 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. And we have Deion Jackson for the Colts. I'm not super familiar with this guy. He had 6 catches for 75 yards. So, yeah, Jets-Dolphins, again, this is another game that we were watching with a lot of playoff implications. Dolphins clinch a playoff berth after beating the Jets by 5. After just one successful field goal of 50-plus yards all season, it was only fitting that the Miami Dolphins' playoff hopes came down to a 50-yard kick, and it did. I mean, obviously the safety at the end of the game didn't really determine much, but shout out to Jason Sanders. He had a big field goal this game. Joe Flacco, 18 for 33, while Skylar Thompson threw 20 for 31. Mike Gesicki had 4 catches for 46 yards. I mean, this wasn't a great game offensively from either side, but yeah, Mike Gesicki, Skylar Thompson, and Joe Flacco were really the only guys that shone for me this game. Panthers-Saints, another low-scoring game. Eddie Piñeiro's kick lifts the Panthers to a 3-point win over the Saints. If Steve Wilkes has coached his last game for the Panthers, he can walk away knowing his players didn't quit on him, and he was able to win his final game. I mean, that's the most important part. Sam Darnold played fucking terrible. Let's be honest. They got bailed out by their kicker. I mean, he threw 2 interceptions this game. Andy Dalton, 15 for 25, 171 yards and a touchdown. He played considerably better, right? So, yeah. For the Panthers, I mean, at least they had Terrace Marshall. He had 2 catches for 23 yards. Chris Olave had 5 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. One of the best rookie receivers in the league, ending his season on a pretty decent note there. Let's move on there. Browns-Steelers. Steelers beat the Browns by 14, but miss out on the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, Mike Tomlin's legendary streak of he probably had a playoff streak, but also the winning record thing. He's been Steelers coach for 16 seasons, never had a losing season. The Pittsburgh Steelers spent the second half of the season digging their way out of a deep hole, but they finally encountered one obstacle they couldn't overcome. Deshaun Watson, 19 for 29, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 picks, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Browns move forward with him as a quarterback. Kenny Pickett, 195 yards and a touchdown. Nick Chubb played a pretty good game here, 12 carries for 77 yards. Amari Cooper had 2 catches for 51 yards, while rookie George Pickens had 3 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. That's going to be a great connection to build around the Pickens thing. It's going to be great. But anyways, Chargers, Broncos. Russell Wilson and the Broncos beat Justin Herbert and the playoff-bound Chargers by 3. If this was a sign of what's to come in 2023 in Denver, Russell Wilson and the Broncos faithful can breathe easier this offseason, ending in the season with a win like this, and Russell Wilson playing the way he played. I mean, there's going to be a lot of hope for them, and I feel like they're going to come out strong next season. Justin Herbert, 25 for 37, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game for him. Russell Wilson, 13 for 24, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a pick, but, I mean, this offense was firing on all cylinders. I mean, Latavius Murray, 15, I feel like this guy's been in the league forever. I mean, he had 15 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown. Looking at the receivers in this game, Keenan Allen, 8 catches for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy, great young guy here for the Broncos, 5 catches for 154 yards. Russell Wilson was just dotting them up the entire game. Giants and Eagles. My uncle was a Niners fan, so he was kind of hoping the Giants would beat the Eagles, and so other teams would get the chance at the number 1 spot. But, yeah, Jalen Hurts returns from injury. He leads the Eagles to the number 1 seed in the NFC. Jalen Hurts walked to the link wearing a Michael Jordan I'm Back t-shirt from the former Chicago Bulls star's first on retirement, and that was a cool moment, seeing him walk to the tunnel. I mean, obviously he was going to play this game if he could because it means a first-round bye. They get a rest this weekend. Davis Webb, playing for the New York Giants, 23 for 40, threw a touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 20 for 35, 229 yards. He did throw a pick. Brightwell, Gary Brightwell, 11 carries for 60 yards, while Boston Scott had 9 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. Lawrence Cager I'm not going to talk about him. A.J. Brown had 4 catches for 95 yards in this game. He's definitely a top 10 receiver in the league, and he ended the season off in pretty decent fashion. Let's move on to the Cardinals and the Niners. We knew this was going to be a pretty garbage game, and it was. Shout out to J.J. Watt, great NFL career. This was his game, and it seemed like last game, and it seemed like no one was talking about it. Brock Purdy leads the 49ers to their 10th straight win. They win by 25 over the Cardinals. Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers are peaking at just the right time, and now know they won't have to go on the road for at least a few more weeks. So, yeah, they're going into the playoffs feeling pretty damn confident with themselves here. They played David Blow, who went 14 for 18 through 180 yards and a touchdown. He did have 2 picks, though, which kind of hindered him. Brock Purdy, 15 for 20, 178 yards, 3 touchdowns. He made a 49ers history. He had this really interesting stat, most consecutive games with 2 pass touchdowns. He had 6 in his rookie year, which is insane. So, yeah. Elijah Mitchell, love to see him kind of back and playing pretty well. They obviously had to rest Christian McCaffrey for the playoffs, but a little bit. But Elijah Mitchell, 5 carries, 55 yards, and 2 touchdowns. A.J. Green had one of the more impressive touchdowns I've seen all year. He had 3 catches for 91 yards and that great touchdown he had. Monster defender. Had the hiccups, broke a couple tackles, and yeah, Brandon Ayuk, very underrated receiver, 4 carries, 59 yards. Rams Seahawks. The Seahawks beat the Rams by 3 in overtime. They're in the playoffs after the Lions win. Within minutes of the Seattle Seahawks winning to maintain their playoff hopes, the video boards inside the Lumen Field flashed a message. I mean, let's be honest. I think the Seahawks, out of those 3 teams, deserved it the most. I mean, Geno Smith having an absolute breakout year, amazing year. They deserve that. I mean, Baker Mayfield, he went 13 for 26, had 147 yards. He did have a pick. I don't think that was really that big of a problem. I mean, Geno Smith, 19 for 31, 213 yards. He threw a touchdown. He did have 2 interceptions. Van Jefferson, 3 catches for 61 yards. I always thought he was a pretty good receiver for the Rams. Tyler Lockett had 4 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Obviously, a reunion between him and Bobby Wagner was shared after the game. That was pretty cool. But Cowboys and Commanders, I mean, Ah, man, the Cowboys, they're looking pretty damn fraudulent here. I'm not going to go too far on this. I mean, they're a 12-5 football team. They're still a good football team, but Dak Prescott and the Cowboys fall flat in Week 18. They lose to the Commanders. Dak Prescott insisted the Dallas Cowboys were worried solely about their game against Washington and had no idea what was going on in Philadelphia with the other result they would need to win the game. They needed to win this game. They weren't able to. So, yeah, unfortunate. Dak Prescott, he played awful. The only positive thing is that he threw a touchdown this game. He threw a pick. He got outplayed by fucking Sam Howell. Guys, 11 for 19, 169 yards, a touchdown. He threw a pick, but I mean, he played against a terrible game in Dak Prescott. Patterson for Washington, interesting. Jarrett Patterson, I think he went to Buffalo for college. I mean, 17 carries, 78 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 5 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown, while Terry McLaurin had 3 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. That is going to do it. We have to talk about The Walking Dead here in a little bit, and then I have to go to class for the first time in about a month. So, yeah. Everyone leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Show any support to the channel you can. I've really appreciated, people popping in, commenting on some of my videos. A lot of it is real over here. I've been getting a lot of support on my Dexter videos. Those are coming every other day. So yeah. If you want more NFL content, we're going to be covering every single game of the playoffs, every single Tuesday, Monday, whenever they end their weeks, and we're going to go all the way up to the Super Bowl. It's been a really good regular season, full of surprises, shockers. It's been a good season. It's always a good time when football's around, so have a good rest.